hurricane side of the storm. So we need to be aware of that. Just don't take anything for granted. Don't ever underestimate the power of water and what it can do.
We are seeing that firsthand as Hurricane Hannah makes an approach to the Texas coast. It is getting very close to that coastline. Welcome back to our continuing coverage. It's not only getting close to the coast, it is getting stronger. The latest position update shows that we now have an 85-mile-per-hour hurricane, and the pressure has dropped to 973. Welcome back to our live team coverage. I'm meteorologist Jen Carfagno, along with hurricane specialist Carl Parker. He'll join us in just a moment. But first, let's look at that position update. Again, it is close to the coast. We're seeing it 55 miles just to the east-northeast of Port Mansfield, Texas. The winds now, this is an increase as measured by the hurricane hunters who are out flying through it, 85 miles per hour. The movement is still to the west at 8 miles per hour. This drop in pressure as well, 973. Lots of data to tell us what's going on with Hannah. We've got the hurricane hunters, we've got the radar, we've got the buoys, and of course we've got the land observations showing us that circulation as well as the strong wind. Port Aransas coming in with 51-mile-per-hour gusts right now, 40 at Port Mansfield, and it's just going to increase as we see this. Again, western Iowa continue to just grate right along the coastline, pretty much from Port Aransas down to just about Port Isabel is where that is sort of lined up to. The eastern side of things, I will tell you that we've got some really big rainfall rates in that too. So what will happen is that we'll see this westward progression. The National Hurricane Center are the ones that call when a landfall happens, and it happens when the center point crosses the coast. That's when you get a landfall. Then you still have to wait for this eastern side to come in, and then that itself here has definitely some ferocity with it as well. The eye is now up over, I forget the latest estimate, up over 50 miles across. So it is a very large eye that we're talking about here as well. Makes for a long night because we've been in these bad conditions for quite a while right along the coastline. We're going to watch when it makes a landfall. We'll get a break. There'll be some calm in the middle of the storm, as you know, and the center is where the winds are calm. But then we still have to get through that eastern side, and this here too will bring in some very tough conditions along with the really big rainfall rates that will be up over 3 or 4 inches an hour, and that will give us concern for flash flooding. So tracking this, let me give you a quick look at the path. It is moving to the west, likely to sag just a little bit more to the west-southwest as it moves over South Texas, slowing down as it does, and that's unfortunate for the rainfall situation, which in this whole area from South Texas into northern Mexico, including from in Monterey, we're expecting the risk of flash flooding. Hurricane warning is up, Corpus Christi down to Port Mansfield, and even inland, we're going to see some strong gusty winds here beyond just the coastal concerns. The system is strengthening on its approach to land, and that means that it has some momentum, it has some inertia, and it'll hang on to those stronger winds even as it crosses here into the inland areas. All right, let's bring in storm tracker Brandon Clement. He is out along the Texas Gulf Coast. He joins us now from Port Mansfield. So what is the worst of the weather that you've seen so far from Hannah?
About 10 minutes ago, got a good squall that came through and was really pushing out some hard winds. Got a RV in front of me on my stream here. It was shaking really bad, so I stopped and put the camera on it just now. About 10 minutes ago, the wind picked up the front end of it and crushed the jacks underneath. That's probably the worst, but we've got another bad band that's just about to hit us here in the next few minutes. So I'm expecting that to be probably the worst of it, at least for this side of the eye, depending on what happens as the storm evolves.
Exactly. And Brandon, let's talk about the surge. How high have you seen the water, and how far has it come inland?
It's pretty low right now because most of the flow is offshore. We're expecting the backside of the storm to bring surge in this area. Most of the wind here is out of the northwest, so it's pushing that water out right now. Now when the backside comes around, the winds will shift around and the water will shift around with it.
Yeah, it's a good point. The wind direction here is key. Let's talk about the rainfall. You've been in this band for at least the last hour or so. Can you tell how much it's added up to?
It's so hard to tell in tropical because the rain's so fine. It's actually producing more rain than the giant drops you see in like severe thunderstorms. But if I had to guess right now, it's not a whole lot. It's been on and off, so I'm guessing about an inch and a half maybe at the most. But it's kind of spread out. The heavier rain, the more consistent rain on the banding seems to be on the south side and on the southeast side of the storm. That's where the flood concerns are setting up as it moves over like the Brownsville, McAllen, Harlingen area.
Have you seen any flooding yet, though? Any roads that look like there could be issues?
I haven't. I've seen some ditches held in a little bit of water, a little puddling on the road, but nothing major.
Yeah, so we really will see things go downhill, though, I think, when you get on that eastern side of the storm and you get all the rain, and the onshore flow will make a big difference as well. What about the area? Pretty cleared out of people? That RV park cleared out of residents?
Well, this morning the police were coming through the town on the loudspeaker asking everybody to evacuate. They didn't have sturdy shelter, warning of winds 80 to 90 mile an hour and possible flooding and getting cut off, no electricity, that kind of thing. So a lot of people, as the storm made a little gradual turn south, it put this area in a little bit more risk than it was, say, a day ago. And when they went from tropical storm to hurricane, it got a lot of people's attention. So a lot of people cleared out, a lot of boats, RVs and stuff are on the highway heading out, but there are still some people around.
Well, Brandon Clement, thank you for taking the time to join us. Stay safe out there. I'm sure we'll check back in with you again. Let's now go back to Carl Park.